Let's code together a team members page where we can display users and we can also add or remove them. You remember here on the sidebar, we didn't do anything here on the bottom. Here we got settings and a notification. So what I want to do here is to come back on the sidebar. And on the bottom of the sidebar, I got these settings notification, which are here. So here we can see that we got general settings. Here I'm going to put team settings. Let's put it like this. And probably we've got an icon that we can grab, and we're going to grab exactly the same icon as here on the settings. Okay, so we got general settings. Let's say that we're going to have here a div, and it's going to be the same. And we're going to take these team settings directly in here. It's going just to be a link. Okay, and this link here, it's going to be actually a link to go to the page team settings. There we go. Instead of a div, we can use the link from where? From NextJS. So I can go here on the top. I'm going to type link coming from next link. So what I need to do is to put the href, and here on href, I'm going just to put /team. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And down here, we can see that we've got the element going to /team. Okay, so what I need to do now is to create this page team because I don't have it. So I'm going to create a new folder called team. And inside, I'm going to create a page.tsx. I'm going to initiate my component. I'm going to call it team settings. And here, I'm going to save that and put team settings. So when I come back and I click on team settings, okay, suddenly I arrive on an empty page called team settings. And this is where we are going to work on our system of displaying users using my user item package that I created before. If you didn't see it, user item, it's a package that I created to display users like this. Okay, so let's create this page. So here I'm going to create here a header, and I'm going to call that here team settings. Probably not an H1, probably it's going to be H2, team settings. Okay. And I'm going to save that. And there we go. So I'm going to put some weight here. It's going to be a text, 36 pixels. And I'm going to add some font. So here, font 700. And we should be good. Okay, we've got team settings in here. Down here, I'm going to add a module. It's going to be my team module. Okay, so here I will have my team module. And here I'm going to put some grid. So here I'm going to grid gap 4. There we go. And so we're going to have our team module, which will display all the team members. So now let's work on the model of these team members. So let's say that I would have members here and set members, because later we want to be able to set the member. I'm going to use a state, of course, and here it's going to be an array. So inside a member, we are going to create the type member. So we're gonna have, of course, the email, which will be a string. We can have the full name, which will be a string also. And that's it. Oh, we can add a background color, because here I will not have any URL for now to use. I'm not going to use an API to grab some fake user. I can do it, I know, but here I just want to do it like this. Okay, so here I'm gonna have a user state of member, which will be here. And the first member, of course, it's me. So me, I will be also the admin. Probably later we will have some different roles. So we already know that we need a role, and this role would be of type string. I can also define the roles if I want to here. It's up to you. Okay, here I'm going to add my email. So it's going to be codewithguillaume@gmail.com. There we go. Then I will have a full name, which will be not Code with Guillaume, but Guillaume Durand. There we go. And then I'm going to have a background color. And we can see here that, for instance, I can add white, but white, it's not going to be really good. Something like this, it's good. Then as a role, I'm going to put an admin. Okay, I got my first member. So now what I would like to do? Well, basically, I would like to create a table. Remember, on ChatCN, we used this table component in a previous course. Let's come back to it. We imported this table here that we've got. Here we are really happy. It's taking data directly from an array and displaying it like this on ChatCN. In this case, this is not probably something we would like to do. What we would like to do is first to display for every user one line inside a custom table, because we would like to inject here my user item. There are ways to do it with ChatCN, but this is not the topic of this course. We can probably come back to it later. Okay, so first I'm going to have a div with a border, and let's say it's going to be rounded. This is going to be my div. Okay, so now I got this. I want to loop through my members, and we will see after that we will have to come back to this. Okay, so here I'm going to map through my members, and every member will be a new line, okay? It will be a new line. So here I'm going to add a type of member, and I will have a key. I need to pass my key. And here it's going to be of type number, not of type key, of course. Okay, all right, so now we got the member, and let's say that we want to display the email. Let's just look at the result. Okay, we've got this. Doesn't take any space, any something special. So what I want to do, remember, is that I can use my actual component user item. Remember, when you want to use user item for now with NextJS, you need to import it as a dynamic component. So remember, with NextJS, we need to import user item as a dynamic component. And I'm going to take that, going to the bottom, and I'm going to use user item here. So user item, there we go. And I'm going to pass all my props down here. So here the description will be actually for the email. I'm going to pass here. Okay, so I got my member email. Then I have the prop title that I can use for the full name. So here I got the full name. And I got the props background color here. And I can use the color that I had before. I want to remove this email up here. I want to hide the shadow, so it's going to be shadow false. And I want to remove the border also. So by default, we got the border. Probably I should change all of this. And when I come back, look at this. There we go. We've got our user item, which is here. Let's add other users. And when I come back, we can see here that I got a list of users that are displayed here. What we would like to add is actually some elements here, some buttons to remove them or to add them, and also we need a header. But first we would need to have a line on every element that we got displayed down here. So I'm going to come down, and what I can do here is to use Tailwind CSS for that. And what I can do here is just to add a border B, and if I come back, we can see that every element got a border. However, we've got the problem here of the last border. So how do I do to remove here the last border? There's an easy solution for that. And this solution is just to add here last border be 0. So here last helps us to target the last element. So if I come back here, we can see that we don't got the border anymore. Okay, so remember we've got this user item, but let's say that we would have a button, and this button here would add remove. So button, of course, I call it directly from components UI button. And here we can see that we got remove in here. So this is not what we want. Again, we are going to put flex, item sender, justify between. And when we come back, we've got the button remove here, but we need some padding on the right. So I'm going to add some padding on the right. And here it looks better. We can see the button is big. Probably on ChatCN, we have the option to put a lower button. So if I look at the options, I can see also that I got some different variants on the button, which is very cool with ChatCN. So if I come back here, I already know that I want to put some variant, and here we got secondary. Or we could have the variant here destructive. Probably it would make more sense, but anyway. Or I can see that I got the variant ghost. Probably the variant ghost is the best, so I'm going to put that. And this is the force of ChatCN. We can see that we got predefined styles that we can use. So back here on my header, I can see that I got my theme settings, and then on my div here, I can put actually a new div. And I'm going to reuse the button that we've got in here. So I'm going to put that into a div, and in this div, I'm going to add a new member. Okay, so I don't want to have the variant ghost, probably the variant secondary. Let me look at it. So remember in the command here, we've got this command and command input. I can just grab them and put them in here. So I'm going to just put this command, and I need to import command and the command input. So I'm going to come here, import everything from ChatCN that we already installed. And it's going to just filter here. And if I come back here, we've got here type a command or search. So this is not exactly what we would like to have. Here we're gonna put type an email here, and there we go. And we can see that we got some class name, some behavior in here. Probably I would like just to put a flex, okay, item sender, justify between. And I'm going to add some gap, and here it's going to be gap 2. So when I come back, we've got this very nice element, type an email to invite, all right. And I'm going to add actually a grid to all these elements. So here it's going to be grid and a grid gap 4. So if I look at it, suddenly we've got this input, which is way too big. We need to put actually another input in here. All right, so here I'm supposed to type an input. I don't check anything in here because it's just a design course. Of course, if you type here an email, you got to invite somebody. So let's say that here I'm going to add a new email, which would be, for instance, jean@gmail.com. And then I'm supposed to click on add a new member. And we are supposed to have Jean added to the list just here. Okay, but the problem is that we need to have some kind of status, like a status pending or whatever. So what I can do is to come back in here, and here I can add a status on every of my element. And I will need to add this status, of course, to my member type, which is here. Okay, so I'm going to add this status here, and here it's going to be a string. Okay, status will be mandatory for now. Let's say that Philippe will be actually on status pending. Okay, so we've got Philippe that is on status pending, and we would like to display here on the column the status of Philippe. So we got to review actually our old component, which is here. We've got right now a grid here, which have the common input, and we've got this element, so this list, this is the table. So here, what we would like to do is inside every element to have some kind of grid also. So if I put here grid, and grid calls 6, for instance, and I save that. So here we can see that we've got some flex item, and I can save that. It's going to change totally the behavior of my component. So when I come back, we can see that I got these elements and I got some columns. So what I want to do is here to have a div call span2. I want that on 6 columns, this element is going to take 2. And when I come back, we can see that I got more space. All right, this one here, and I can put a div because probably later I will have other buttons. I'm going to have a class name called span here, and I can put 1. Okay, and when I come back, we can see that I got 1. And in between, what I want to put is to fulfill the space that I got. So I can put div here called span, and here I got already 3 on 6 columns taken. So the 2 columns for the user item, the 1 column for the button, it means that I still got 3 columns. So I'm going to put div call span 3. And when I come back, we can see here that we've got all the space that has been fulfilled. And here we can see the button remove is arriving here, but not exactly on the end. So here what we want to do is to push the buttons on the end. So what I can do simply is to put flex and justify end, because later we'll have elements and we can see that I get the button here. I'm going to come back, and here I'm going to create a new div. And in this div, I'm going to have what? I'm going to have member and of course the status of the member. And we can see down here that we got pending for the moment. What I would like to have also is the role. We didn't forget the role. So we've got here admin, admin viewer, and next to it we got pending. So those 2 items, we would like to have some flex and put some gap to here. Okay, you see these items here, we are going to turn them into tags. Okay, let's go. So let's install the badge from chatcn. Once it's done, I start again, and I can come back and I can use here the badge with their variants. So I'm going to just came back to this element here. I'm going to go here and add my badge, going down in here. And instead of having those div, I'm going to call badge. And when I come back and I update, we will see that those elements will turn into badges, And we see here that we got some side effect that we need to check right now. So what I want to do is just to put member.status, and here I'm going to display, and there we go. So now let's change the colors. So there are several ways to do it. Probably you want to put here a class name and, for instance, a BG red 500 for the roles. But the problem here, as we can look, we got some side effects. Otherwise, you can use the variants from Chatien. So I can remove here and go back to variant and here put secondary, which is, in my opinion, the best option. So we got here the variant. Otherwise, you can create your own classes with Tailwind. And me, that's what I would like to do. So here we can see that we got admin, viewer as roles, and we got here pending just down here. So what I want to do here is to just customize as much as I can here using Tailwind CSS. There are other ways to do it, but we are going to use Tailwind CSS. So what I would like to do, especially here, is just to put, for instance, the member role. So I'm going to put the member role as a class. And I'm going to do exactly the same here, but for the status. So here I'm going to put the status. And before that, I want to prefix that with tag. Okay. And inside tag, I will have the member role and the member status. Okay. So what I can do now is to go to my CSS, and down here I can put tag, and then I can put the role. So basically the role here, if I come back to it, it's going to be actually admin with a capital letter, which is bad. It's supposed to be here like this on the database. We don't want to have capital letters. So when I come back here, I forgot to put that. I'm going to put admin, for instance. There we go. When I come back here, we can see that we got lower letter. So I can avoid this by coming down and to put here on the tags, either capitalize here, either I had capitalized to my tag here. So I can put here capitalize, and I can save that. And when I come back, we can see that we got our elements. Okay, so let's say that on admin, I would like to add a specific color. And I can add here either a text color, either a background color. Okay, so if you want to know all the colors of Tailwind, you can go on Tailwind CSS and check the colors. So here I got the whole list of the colors. Let's say that the admin will be orange 500. So I'm going to get back and I'm going to apply BG orange 500. But we will see that here BG orange 500, it will be actually too much. So I'm going to get back in here, and there we go. So here we can see, and when I pass to it on hover, I can see that I got this effect. So actually it's going to be text orange 500, and then it's going to be orange here 100. So here it looks better, right? And on hover, I want to avoid this here element. So I'm going to type here BG orange 100. And so when I pass, we've got this. So we can see admins are here in orange. And what I can do is to do exactly the same for every role. So what other role do we got? We got viewer. So I'm going to put viewer, and here instead of orange, I can put another color. So for instance, I can put sky blue. I'm going to get down here, use the pending that we got here, and on pending, I'm going to put amber, and if I come back, we've got amber. So the problem is that here admin is on orange and pending on yellow, but that's all right. Okay, that's just the beginning, but that's really nice. I don't know what you think about that. We can have a full list of users in here. Now let's just finish on one point. What do we do if we don't get any member? Well, basically it's not supposed to happen, because if you are logged in, you are supposed to have at least one member, which is you. But if we want to avoid this, we can go back down here, and what we can do is to put if members and members map, and we have the list of members. But if I suddenly remove all my members here, if I suddenly remove all my members, I end up with this ugly line that I got here. So I'm going to create a last component to just display if there is no member. Actually, I already got my border. So what I can use is to put here members length is equal to 0, for instance. And I can put here a fragment and put there are no members here, no members yet. I'm going to remove that. And when I come back, I get this. It's just a fragment. The problem is that I don't get any padding. So here I can put a div instead. And I'm going to put class and p4, for instance. And we've got this, there are no members yet. So here, what I can do here is just to come back to the model that I had before. And here I'm going to add exactly the same model that I had before. All right, we've got a basic team settings page with a module that we can reuse, where we can click on some elements, display some status, and display some roles also. Of course, we can go deeper into creating this page, such as when we click on remove, which should have a pop-up asking if we really want to remove. It really depends on how you build actually your request and all the rest. But here it's totally useful. We are using the package that I created to display these users faster. It's working, it's nice, it's efficient. We can use it.